Sadly, there's something which is becoming rampant in the country called Kenya. In fact, it is now heading towards being normal. And yet it should never be normal. How? How can it be normal? I'm of course talking about this thing of men using women. And before you start saying, "Well, Chris, wacha mshene," before you start saying that, I'm going to show you evidence, including latest news reports. In fact, of great interest is a recent case that has just been concluded, where a man went to court to fight for the inheritance of his former girlfriend. I kid you not. I'm telling you, this is beyond drama. I'm wondering if my grandfather today came back from the dead. I'm wondering what he'd do. He'd most probably say, "Wacha nirudi mali nimetoka haraka sana." Anyway, before we go into that very hot, captivating topic, allow me a few minutes for some house cleaning, some very quick ones. The latest weekly intelligence briefings, number 32, is out. And it focuses on something super fascinating that happened before politics was shut down. The meeting which Team Keleweke had to bash the deputy president. Actually, what was supposed to happen at that meeting is that they were supposed to announce the date when the impeachment process against the deputy president will start. But they received a phone call at the last minute. A very crazy telephone call. And you can catch up with the latest weekly intelligence briefings. In case you're not yet a member, take advantage of our latest offer. Only $33 or 3,300 shillings for life membership to both WIB and Club 1999. Go for it. I highly recommend. Number 2, people have been told to work from home. We don't know for how long. And the video tutorials I told you about, the ones I did in 2017, where you can virtually transfer any kind of business online, is still very much available. Details on your screen. And finally, about my last video. Now I want to clarify a few things, especially for those who are new to this channel. This channel does not operate like many Facebook pages I see, where you post something and you expect everybody to like it. And those who don't like it, those who comment negatively about it, are your enemies. That's what happens on Facebook. And sadly, even on some YouTube channels I see, we're not like that. We very much welcome views that are contrary to mine. I sincerely love it. When you challenge me, I will let you into a secret and tell you my real nightmare. My real nightmare, what I fear, is producing a video and there's no response. No emotion. It is just there. What I'm always really after is heated debate. On both sides of the debate. Chris, you're very wrong because of 1, 2, 3. That is fine. Very welcome on this channel. In fact, you don't even need to start with kind words. "Oh, Chris, I like your channel. Oh, it is great. But today, you're wrong." No, just go straight to the point. Of course, the only thing that I don't accept on this channel is abusive language. "Oh, Chris, your idiotic views. Your nonsensical views." The truth is, we get a lot of idiotic and nonsensical comments on this channel. From viewers. But do I say? No, I'm polite. I will politely point out my views. Why I think that person is wrong. I will not say that it is nonsense. I will not say that they are stupid. I will not say that they are fools. And so I also expect, when I'm foolish, don't call me a fool. I expect you to treat me in the same way I treat you. Is that too much to ask? Now, having said that, I must point out that there are some people, and I believe this is in every country, but in Kenya I'm seeing a rampant rise in such people, is that there are some people who are very naive. And the reason why they're naive is not because they're not clever. It's not because their brain is inferior. No. It is because they're experts in everything. You know, one gift Almighty God has given me is that I listen a lot. I listen a lot to experts. I mean, really listen to what they're saying. If you listen keenly enough, you'll be able to hear what somebody is not saying. And over the years, I've listened a lot to intelligence officers. Not only intelligence people from Kenya, but intelligence people from all over the world. Remember, I'm the son of a cop. Let me tell you a very interesting story. I had just finished Form 6. And of course, I was waiting for my A-level results. And then one day, my political lecturer did something he had never done before. Until that time, he took me out for a drink with his friend. You know, he was always a very strict man. Yeah, being seen anywhere within 100 meters of a bar was an issue. And now here he was, asking me to dress up. Yeah, we're going to meet his friend. Yeah, and we went to the Carnival restaurant those days. I believe it is still there today. And we went to meet this Mzungu friend of his, whom he had met during a trip to Finland. Just to be clear, the police work that took him to Finland had nothing to do with intelligence work. In those days at least, Finland had the lowest rate of road accidents in the world, despite having some very tricky roads that wind around mountains and sometimes are slippery when it snows. But within 5 minutes of sitting down with that Mzungu, I immediately knew this guy must be an intelligence officer, by instinct. And remember, I was a very naive schoolboy, just finished my 6th form at that time. I didn't know much, but I guess it is because I was always very fascinated by intelligence officers. Yeah, you know, growing up with cops around you, taking you to school. Very early on, I learned how to differentiate the different cops. Regular police, boring. CID officer, usually in plain clothes, boring. Special branch officer, I would sit up and pay attention. That was fascinating. These guys were spies. That day I learned that these guys behave the same anywhere in the world. Now, taking into consideration that this was a very privileged, unique upbringing that I went through, I am normally slow to criticize or slow to look down on people who display total ignorance about the way the intelligence service of any country works. I don't expect everybody to know what I know, but at least people should read widely. You can catch up with some of this information. Anyway, I'm very patient when people say things that I know are not true. But I must admit, I get more than a little impatient when people give the impression that the government of the United States of America is something close to a government you'd see in heaven. They can't do anything wrong. Chris, the Constitution of the United States, blah, 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 blah. Chris, there's no deep state in the United States. Aye? Are you sure? You know, I kind of anticipated this. Yeah, and that is why in one of the illustrations in my last video, I included a clip of a headline from a very reputable United States newspaper. And the first few paragraphs of that article, where they said very clearly, most Americans believe the deep state is in other countries and not in the US. Anyway, in case you're new to this channel, let me just remind you that before I do a single video on this channel, I make sure I double check to ensure that all my ducks are in a row and that I fully understand what it is I'm saying. And then after that, I choose my words very carefully So it is okay to write a comment. It's okay to bash me. But make sure you don't put words in my mouth and then you bash those words you've put in my mouth. Hey, that's what many of you did in the last video. But very important, I'm not angry at you. Yeah, I just feel pity for you. You know the kind of pity you feel when you go somewhere and you see so much ignorance. You don't know where to start in trying to educate people. You have no idea where to start. You just give up even before you start. That is the pity I feel. But I'm very proud of very many people on this channel. Some of them my harshest critics. Yeah, but they're aware. They know. They're not naive. They know what is going on in this world. Very good for them. Because the times we're in are going to be very confusing times. Why? Because we're in the times of deception. Yeah, where the whole world is going to be deceived. A vast majority of people in the world are going to be deceived. It's predicted in the Bible. Even Christians are going to be deceived. Except, of course, the elect. Anyway, my message and my passionate appeal to all of you is Ka Rada. Mambo ni mbaya. And please don't be a lazy thinker. Yeah, your brain will not feel pain if you stretch it. It won't. Even with a complex topic, just start small. Yeah, and go slowly by slowly, understanding what it is. And of course, by remaining a regular on this channel, you have a huge advantage because we have some very smart people on this channel. Extremely smart. Even if you think I'm trying to deceive you, read the comments. Yeah, see what people say. Some people, not all people. Some people here are so smart that I marvel at what God has done. In fact, I really respect those people. If they knew how much I respect them, they would faint. Whenever I see their comment, I stop everything I'm doing and I keenly read each and every word, including the commas, twice, and I make sure I understand what they're trying to say. And very important, I also try to understand what they have not said. Kudos, but make sure you use what God has given you for His purpose and His purpose alone. Thank you. Now on to today's topic. Justice Reuben Nyakundi ruled yesterday at a Mombasa court over a very interesting case that has been going on, where a man who was married to a woman was claiming her inheritance, the property she left behind when she passed on. And this woman was worth a mere 20 million. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have 20 million in my bank account. No way. I'm just trying to do calculations. When you consider your legal fees, including transport to court for hearings, etc., trying to trace relatives and people to give evidence in a case, liaising with a lawyer, etc. And remember, most of that 20 million is in assets. So if you want to do a quick sale, you'll not get 20 million. When I put all those things together, I can't help but sense desperation here in a man over what belongs to a woman. In fact, Justice Nyakundi summarized it in a very appropriate way. He said, and I quote, "In my view, it would be a failure of justice to allow the objector to benefit from the sweat of another man under the guise that his marriage with the deceased was not formally dissolved." In a nutshell, what happened here is that this man was married to this woman once upon a time. And then she got fed up and she walked out of the marriage. She was a businesswoman and she had many boyfriends. And then finally she ended up with this Mzungu, somewhere in Malindi. And Justice Nyakundi acknowledged that the court had seen evidence that this Mzungu not only paid dowry for the deceased, but he also financed her businesses, made them grow, to the extent where our ex started salivating over her assets and her success. Now, if you think this is a unique case, think again. Because something very scary has happened to Kenyan men. They have ceased being men. Maybe I should put it in the crude way Hezron puts it. Huyo si mwanaume. Huyo ni mwanamke. Amekula hormones, amemea ndevu. Na amebeba hiyo kitu hapo mbele kwa trouser. Lakini pengine hata ukiangalia vizuri, hiyo kitu hakuna. Ile kitu utapata hapo ni ya mwanamke. My sincere apologies for being mtu wa mtaa, especially because this is a family channel. But let me give you another very fascinating tale that I witnessed with my own eyes. Some years back, we met this Kamba couple. They seemed to be doing very well. And we were told they were doing a very prosperous business somewhere in Mombasa. They were partners. Yeah, and therefore that piqued my curiosity. Yeah, you know, I'm the curious type. You know, businesses, successful businesses run by a couple are very rare. And in my curiosity, yeah, I became very observant. And I noticed that the woman had some kind of madharau. Yeah, she didn't respect her husband. And strangely enough, the husband took it in his stride. And by the way, I used the word respect, not fear. You know, some wives fear their husbands. Yeah, because of the threat of physical violence. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. And since I'm a keen student of spiritual manenos, I told my wife, that woman is having an affair. Mark my words. That madharau is an indication of an affair she's having outside the marriage. Now allow me to bring some of you up to speed. Yeah, this is a spiritual thing. If a woman has an affair outside a marriage, she will develop madharau, disrespect for her husband. And she'll be doing it subconsciously. Even if she's a good woman, even if she's very polite, she'll just show her husband disrespect. And the same does not apply to a man. A man can have many affairs out there and still have respect for his wife. It is just the way women are wired. Yeah, if she's getting it from somebody else, and especially if it is better, she can't help it. If she still lives with the husband, it'll stick out like a sore thumb. That's just the way things are. But as it turned out, yeah, my initial verdict was wrong. Or let me put it another way, it was more complicated than that. To cut a long story short, many months later, I discovered the terrible truth. Now I can hear some of you saying, kumbe kumekucha ni mtu wa mshene hivyo. No, I'm a journalist. And for years, I specialized in investigative journalism. Finding out things that are not easy to find out. That is my special skill set. Yeah, and also my gift from Almighty God. What happened is that before, this couple were not doing well. And then they found a Mzungu man. Yeah, who was very rich. In fact, when they landed in Mombasa, they were struggling. They used to stay in a place called Likoni. And then all of a sudden, they started doing so well that they moved to Bamburi. Yeah, Bamburi, the good part of Bamburi, where rich people stay. And I think there was another reason they moved to Bamburi. Yeah, because Bamburi is close to Nyali, where this Mzungu lived. And this wife got married to the Mzungu. And she was so good to this Mzungu as a wife that he gifted her with a car and with property and with an unlimited flow of cash. Yeah, she got a credit card, almost unlimited spending. And so the way the arrangement works, yeah, she's a wife to the Mzungu, but then every week she has to go and see her relatives for 1 or 2 days. And the Mzungu understands. I believe he has been told she comes from a very poor family. She has to take care of her family 1 or 2 days away from the home. Actually, those 1 or 2 days away from the Mzungu is to take care of her husband, her real husband. And so, this man survives from the sweat of his wife. We have not even gone into the immoral part of this arrangement. And the husband doesn't seem to mind. Pesa inaingia. And they have 2 young children. So I'm wondering what the children are told. Mama ameenda kazini. Hii job ya mom, yeye ulala kazini siku nyingi sana, anakuja tu siku mbili. But what really shocked me to my bones was that when I got this information, I was told, Chris, wewe umezubaa. Si hao peke yao, kuna wengi sana hapa Mombasa, wengi sana wanafanya hivyo. What? Ayayayayayaya. Nakwambia hii dunia yetu inaisha. But there's more. You know, some of our audience believe that this channel should also be a channel for exposing scandals. Therefore, over a few months, I noticed I had received so much information saying the same thing. Oh, this governor's taken over somebody's wife. Oh, this governor's taken over that person's wife, etc., etc. You know, in Kenya these days, we have some little presidents. They are presidents over counties. Some of them very small counties. Yeah, but the point is, when you see them and their motorcade, they are real presidents. When you see the money flowing from them, they are real presidents. Then the other day, someone here told me, hey Chris, if you're looking for verification of that information you're given, here it is. And they showed me a post about a certain governor, name withheld, who had taken somebody's wife. And the husband was aware. And this governor loves this mke wa wenyewe so much, he has bought her house. Yeah, and the wife is asking the husband, so you come, we stay in this house. I'm telling you, hii Kenya yetu, yeah. Now, we know money is scarce. We know that people get into hardships, people get desperate. But I blame this thing entirely and totally on our men. Because Kenyan men are no longer real men. You see them fighting alongside women in salons, yeah, to go for pedicure and manicure and curly kit and dreads and whatever and whatever. Gosh, have you noticed when you walk in the streets these days how difficult it is sometimes to differentiate between a man and a woman? You see something walking down the street towards you, and then you start an argument. No, that's a woman. No, it's a man. No, it's a woman. The way our men dress, the way they behave. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with good grooming. Yeah, a man should be clean. Yeah, he should not have dirt under his fingernails, etc., etc. But pedicure, manicure, kwenda kukaa kwa salon for 2 hours. Huyo si mwanaume. Sorry, I'm old-fashioned. Huyo sio mwanaume. And I'll point out something that you may have not noticed. Yeah, in Kenya, we have an alarming increase of women who fall in love with other women. And don't tell me hiyo ni maendeleo. Rubbish. That's not development. If it is development, if it is what happens in the West, which we must follow to be developed, wacha development ikae. Anyway, my point is, one of the reasons for this increase, in women getting these feelings, is that there are no longer real men left. Let me remind you something that you should know very well. Women are wired to be attracted to real men. Not to men that you can easily confuse for a woman. A real man with a deep voice, a brave man who dresses and behaves like a real man. Now, I'm not a woman, but I know this. How do I know this? Because I know that the manufacturer and what is written in the manufacturer's handbook is 100% correct. And when you deviate from it, try to create your own things, you're going to end up in trouble. It's just like if you have a vehicle and you decide you have a Toyota, but then you're going to do some modifications and put a Peugeot, or a Nissan part in that Toyota. Of course it will work, but it will create other very serious problems in your vehicle, in the long term. In other words, what you must do is follow very keenly, very closely what is in the Toyota manufacturer's handbook, what they recommend. Put this oil and no other oil. You can put another oil, it will work. But there will be consequences later. So, in the same way, the manufacturer's handbook from those who manufactured the man, the human being called the man, says as follows in 1 Corinthians 16, 13 to 14. Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. You can see the scriptures on your screen right now. You can finish reading. And then Deuteronomy 22:5 says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Now, don't think for a moment I want to get into the debate of whether women should wear trousers or not. No. In my view, they are trousers for women. And remember, when this verse was written, how did people used to dress in those days? Everybody dressed in a robe. Almost like a dress. But there was a very distinct difference between the robe of a man and the robe of a woman. Take careful note of that. What I am talking about is a man dressing in a trouser and then swinging his hips. You confuse him for a woman. And then this man goes to court to fight for the inheritance of his wife or his girlfriend. This man eats the sweat of a woman without shame. If I can quote the legendary Kenyan broadcaster, Leonard Mambo Mpotela, Je, huu ni ungwana? Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.